What if one of the old Eisenhower dollar coins sitting in your home is worth much more than you think? Every year, collectors discover valuable coins hiding in forgotten jars, inherited collections, and old boxes because of rare mint errors, exceptional condition, or special collector varieties. In today's video, we're uncovering the secrets of the famous 1971 D and 1976 Eisenhower dollar coins, revealing their history, the key details collectors search for, and the features that can make certain examples stand out. Before you spend, sell, or overlook your old dollar coin, watch until the end. You might discover that an ordinary-looking coin has an extraordinary story. The coin number 1. Have you ever picked up a 1976 Eisenhower dollar and wondered if it could be hiding a remarkable story? Most people see this large $1 coin and think it's just another old piece of pocket change. Some even throw it into a drawer, a piggy bank, or a forgotten coin jar without taking a second look. But what if that coin represents one of the most memorable chapters in American history? What if the details on its surface reveal why collectors still search for certain examples nearly 50 years after they were made? Today, we're uncovering the fascinating history of the 1976 Eisenhower dollar, why it was created, what makes some examples more desirable than others, and how to recognize the features that serious collectors pay attention to before you decide what to do with the one you may already own. The story begins in the mid-1970s, when the United States prepared to celebrate the 200th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Rather than producing ordinary coins, the U.S. Mint decided to honor the nation's bicentennial with special commemorative designs. For the Eisenhower dollar, the traditional reverse was replaced with a unique image of the Liberty Bell superimposed over the moon, accompanied by a colonial drummer. This memorable design symbolizes both America's fight for independence and its achievements in space exploration. Instead of showing a single year, the coin proudly displays the dual date, 1976, making it instantly recognizable among American coins. Although every bicentennial Eisenhower dollar carries the same dual date, they were not all made in the same way. Coins without a mint mark were struck in Philadelphia, those with a D came from the Denver Mint, and coins bearing an S were produced at the San Francisco Mint. Some San Francisco examples were struck in 40% silver specifically for collectors, while most Philadelphia and Denver coins were made from a copper-nickel clad composition for circulation. Knowing the difference between these varieties is one of the first steps toward understanding their collector value. Many people believe that every old dollar coin must be worth a fortune simply because it looks impressive and is no longer seen in everyday circulation. In reality, the value of any Eisenhower dollar depends on several important factors, including its composition, condition, rarity, and whether it contains a genuine mint error. Most circulated bicentennial dollars are worth only a modest premium above face value, but beautifully preserved coins, certified high-grade examples, and unusual mint errors can attract significantly greater interest from collectors. Condition is one of the most important qualities collectors examine. A coin that still displays its original mint luster, sharp design details, and minimal marks is naturally much more desirable than one that has spent decades in heavy circulation. Professional grading services carefully evaluate these characteristics, and even a small difference in grade can have a major impact on collector demand. That is why experienced collectors often inspect coins under magnification and proper lighting before deciding whether they deserve professional certification. Another reason these coins remain popular is the possibility of discovering genuine mint errors. While mint errors are uncommon, they do occur. Off-center strikes, die cracks, missing clad layers, and other production mistakes create coins that are distinctly different from ordinary examples. These unusual pieces are eagerly sought because they tell the story of what happened during the minting process, making each error coin unique in its own way. Discovering one is uncommon, but it is one of the reasons collectors continue searching through old collections and inherited coin jars. As interest in the bicentennial Eisenhower dollar grew, collectors began paying closer attention to details that many people never noticed. One of the first things experts check is the edge of the coin. Most circulation strikes have a copper-colored stripe visible on the edge because of their copper-nickel-clad construction. Some collector versions produced in San Francisco contain 40% silver, giving them a different appearance and making them especially attractive to collectors. While silver versions are generally more valuable than standard circulation coins, their value still depends heavily on condition, originality, and collector demand. The large size of the Eisenhower dollar also makes it especially vulnerable to contact marks. Freshly minted coins often bumped into one another during production and transportation, leaving tiny nicks on the surface. Because of this, examples that remain exceptionally clean and sharply struck are much harder to find than many people realize. A coin that has never been cleaned and still displays brilliant original surfaces can stand out immediately to experienced collectors. This is why preserving a coin in its original state is usually far better than trying to polish or clean it. Over the years, collectors have discovered a variety of genuine mint-made errors on bicentennial Eisenhower dollars. Some show dramatic off-center strikes, while others display die cracks, clipped planchets, or other unusual production characteristics. These are not common finds, but they demonstrate how small differences created during the minting process can transform an ordinary-looking coin into something much more interesting from a collector's perspective. Careful examination under good lighting and magnification is always worthwhile if you suspect your coin has something unusual about it. One of the most important lessons in coin collecting is that history and condition often matter more than rumors. Many stories circulate online claiming that every old dollar coin is worth a fortune, but experienced collectors know that true value comes from rarity, authenticity, and preservation. Most 1,776 1976 Eisenhower dollars remain affordable collectibles, yet certain certified high-grade pieces, silver collector editions, and genuine era coins have achieved impressive prices because they are much more difficult to obtain. Those exceptional examples are the ones that attract serious competition when they appear at major auctions. If you own one of these coins, take a few moments to inspect it carefully. Look for the mint mark, examine the edge, and study the design for anything unusual. Avoid cleaning it, even if it appears dull or dirty, because original surfaces are usually preferred by collectors. If the coin appears to be in outstanding condition or shows an unusual mint characteristic, consider having it examined by a knowledgeable coin professional or submitted to a respected grading service for authentication. The 1,776 1976 Eisenhower dollar is much more than a $1 coin. It represents America's bicentennial celebration, honors a significant moment in the nation's history, and reminds us how coins can preserve stories for generations. Whether your coin ultimately proves to be a common keepsake or a more desirable collector's piece, it remains a fascinating part of American numismatic history. The next time you come across one in an old collection, a family inheritance, or a forgotten drawer, don't rush to spend it. Take a closer look, learn its story, and appreciate the history it carries. Sometimes the greatest discovery is not finding a fortune, but recognizing the remarkable journey hidden inside a coin that millions of people once overlooked. The coin number 2. What if the old 1971 Eisenhower dollar sitting in your drawer is far more interesting than you ever imagined? Every year, thousands of people discover these large American dollar coins in inherited collections, forgotten boxes, and old piggy banks. Many assume they are worth only $1 and spend them without a second thought. But experienced collectors know that while most 1971 Eisenhower dollars are common, certain examples with exceptional condition or genuine mint errors can be worth significantly more. Before you spend yours, let's uncover the remarkable history behind this famous coin and learn why it continues to attract collectors more than 50 years after it was first released. The story of the 1971 Eisenhower dollar began after the passing of President Dwight D. Eisenhower in 1969. The United States wanted to honor the nation's 34th president with a new dollar coin that would also celebrate America's achievements in space exploration. The reverse design features an eagle landing on the moon while holding an olive branch, inspired by the Apollo 11 mission insignia. This powerful image represents both peace and one of the greatest accomplishments in American history. The letter D beneath the date tells us the coin was produced at the Denver Mint, where millions of these dollars were struck for circulation across the country. Although millions of 1971 D Eisenhower dollars were produced, not every surviving coin is equally desirable. Most spent years in circulation, collecting scratches, marks, and wear as they passed from one person to another. Because of this, collectors pay much closer attention to coins that still display brilliant original luster, sharp details, and very few contact marks. High-grade examples are much scarcer than many people realize, because the coin's large size made it especially vulnerable to damage during transportation and everyday use. Another reason collectors continue searching for the 1971 D Eisenhower dollar is the possibility of finding genuine mint errors. During the striking process, small production mistakes occasionally occurred. Some coins were struck off-center, while others developed die cracks or other unusual characteristics that make them stand out from ordinary examples. These mint-made differences are uncommon, but when they are authenticated, they often attract far greater collector interest than standard circulation coins. The excitement comes from discovering something that few people have ever seen. If you own a 1971 D Eisenhower dollar, take a careful look before deciding what to do with it. Examine the coin under bright light and check whether the details of Eisenhower's portrait remain sharp. Turn the coin over and inspect the eagle and the moon design for unusual features or striking errors. Avoid cleaning the coin, even if it appears dull or dirty. Cleaning can remove the original surface that collectors value and may reduce its appeal. A naturally aged coin with untouched surfaces is generally preferred over one that has been polished. One of the greatest myths in coin collecting is that every old coin is worth a fortune. The truth is that rarity, condition, originality, and collector demand determine value. While most circulated 1971 D Eisenhower dollars trade for modest amounts, certified high-grade coins and genuine mint-era examples have brought much stronger prices because they are far more difficult to find. That is why careful examination and proper identification are so important. The 1971 D Eisenhower dollar is much more than a $1 coin. It honors a respected American president, celebrates the nation's achievements in space exploration, and marks the beginning of a new chapter in modern United States coinage. Whether your coin ultimately proves to be a common keepsake or a more collectible example, it represents an important piece of American history. So before you spend that old dollar coin, take a closer look. The greatest value may not always be measured only in dollars. It may be found in the remarkable history, craftsmanship, and story that the coin has carried for more than half a century.